What did Coach Rowe tell us about the Dukes? Is that last year he was focused on getting the great buy-in. This year he's been having to teach a lot more later in the season with this group, trying to get them on the same page.
Here's a look at the starters for Florida. Mike White in his third season as a head coach here at Florida. Only John Calipari, Tubby Smith, and Eddie Sutton won more games as an SEC coach in the first 2 years. Has a word with Keith Stone, who just committed his first personal foul. Talking interior defense, defense overall has been lacking this season for the Gators. Banks inside, and Darius Banks can't finish. Good save on the baseline, and here comes the ultra-quick Chris Chiozza. Kayvon Allen gets all the way to the rim, and he'll go to the free throw line, something he hasn't been doing lately.
Well, what a great job by Kayvon Allen, and just a smart play for him. Last 3 games, you take a look at Coach Rowe, who came back home and played 2 seasons actually at James Madison after playing some time here at Florida as well. Actually lost to Florida in that 1994 NCAA tournament run that the Gators had all the way going to the Final Four. But getting back to Kayvon Allen, in the last 3 games, he attempted only 3 free throws. And this is a guy that had 35 points against Wisconsin. Last year was much more aggressive than he has been so far this season at the offensive end of the floor. And he needs to re-engage. He needs to check back in at the offensive end of the floor.
That 35 against Wisconsin in the Sweet 16 was a Florida school record in an NCAA tournament game. Kayvon Allen hits them both. He's chiseled. He is a very physical looking player. He just doesn't always play physically.
Well, no, he's mild-mannered by nature, and where it shows up more than anything is at the defensive end of the floor. You and I were at shoot-around today, and what did I ask you? I said, watch Kayvon Allen. What did I want you watching?
You wanted me listening as much as you wanted me watching.
Yeah, and he doesn't talk. And you want to be a good defensive player. You want to be a better offensive player. You need to demand the basketball. You need to talk at the defensive end of the floor. It allows you and allows your teammates to have better trust and faith in you.
Igor Kulichov can't knock down the mid-range jumper after passing on the 3. Here comes James Madison. Dukes 0 for 3 from the floor to start this thing out. Nice touch pass back out front. Ramon Snowden gives it back out. And McLean with the leaner. James Madison has started this game 0 for 4 from the floor. Kulichov, the transfer from Rice, gives it up. We got a man who lost a shoe. Jumper is no good. Kevarius Hayes will try to find his swoosh and put it back on. McLean all the way in, dumps it off again, and another empty possession for James Madison. 0 for 5 from the floor and a turnover.
Tommy, they're playing too fast right now. You want to be able to create and push tempo, but you've got to do so with some composure. And right now, James Madison is playing too fast. Their shot attempts are off balance. Their passing angles are poor.
How did Kevarius Hayes get his shoe back on so fast?
Because he doesn't tie them properly, which is why it fell off so fast, Tom. I mean, so, you know, it fell off because it was too loose, which allows you to put it on because it's equally as loose.
That's fair.
Thank you.
Brilliant breakdown. Another foul on James Madison. As they're coming up the floor, he took a moment to take the bunny around the tree. Is that how you learn to tie him?
Yes. I'm working with my 6-year-old right now. We're trying to finish that up.
Yep. I'm with you.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go from the Velcro to the lace-up.
Yeah. The kangaroos always work, and they had a pouch for your change. Hudson off with the jumper, ripped down by Stuckey Mosley. The reigning CAA Player of the Week is coming off of a 28-point performance against FIU. In that game, James Madison had 8 of 16 from 3. They forced 18 turnovers. They had 10 steals. Phillips, offensive foul, and the offensive struggles continue for JMU.
Well, and Phillips has had some struggles with fouls, to say the least. He has fouled out of 4 games already this season and has 4 additional games where he has 4 fouls. So you got to be smart, and you see someone standing in front of you, that's where you got to elevate straight up and straight down. You cannot allow your body to drift right into him. Easy call.
The 1-2-2 look from James Madison, 3-quarter court. Back to Chris Chiozza. Beautiful look, and there's Kulichov inside for the easy finish.
And Chiozza is the engine starter for everything for Florida. And what I mean by that is he allows everybody to space the floor. He's a great facilitator of the offense. It's on him to get the offense going again.
No offense for the Dukes so far. 0 for 4 with a pair of turnovers in their first 6 possessions. Mosley, a transfer from Toledo, sat out last year as a redshirt. Chiozza jumps the passing lane. The senior out in front. It's a 6-0 Florida start.
Well, Florida couldn't have dialed up a better start to this game.
Jalen Hudson foul on the perimeter. Chris Chiozza, one of their best defensive players.
You throw the ball backwards and you don't throw it with pace. You allow a defensive player, if they're in the right position, to jump the lane. You see Chiozza finish, and this is his facilitation. A great backdoor cut. Defense didn't have any awareness that Igor was slipping in from behind, and Chiozza dropped the pass off.
DeAndre Ballard enters the game for the Gators. Already Mike White getting deep into his bench. Long jumper, and that's off the mark. 0 for 5 start for James Madison. They came in shooting 43% from the floor. So far, nothing going for the Dukes. Gators pitching a shutout. The home of the college baseball national champions. Florida pitching a shutout here through the first media timeout. It's a 6-0 lead. What a run it's been for the Gators. They got off to a remarkable start. December to forget, though. It all started with that comeback loss to Duke in the PK 80. They coughed up a late lead. That was their first loss of the season. Since then, they lost to Florida State. That's respectable. Leonard Hamilton's got a great team. They lost to Clemson. Brad Brownell always has a good team, a good bubble team. But when you see LUC and you think, does Luke Robitaille have his own team? No. There's a question mark like that? Yeah,
he does not.
Something's not on.
Yeah,
something's
no, he
wrong.
doesn't. I don't know if you know that. He's a good hockey player. He's great.
LUC, Loyola of Chicago.
Correct. Ramblers.
It's a bad loss.
Not a good one. You're right. But here's the deal when you think about it. I think it was fool's gold for Florida based on how well their offense played early, that they just believed that they could outshoot everyone. New Hampshire actually was the team that gave everybody the blueprint. You and I were here for the Florida State game, and their staff was saying, hey, that's the game we went back to see how we can beat them and how we can limit their outside shooting ability. And that's why you've seen a 16 percentage point drop in the last 5 games from beyond the arc than won the first 5 games.
That was Florida State's game plan going back to watch that New Hampshire game. So what did New Hampshire do that showed everybody else the blueprint?
They stayed attached, and they just really ignored any opportunities for them to score underneath. Florida was settling for perimeter jump shots, and they've continued to do so without aggressively attacking. And a great benchmark of that would be Kayvon Allen, as I mentioned, only 3 free throws in the last 3 games. He's not driving. He's not applying pressure on his opponent. Jalen Hudson, almost the exact same thing, living and dying by the 3-point shot. So if you stay and you keep them contested shots, Tom, that percentage clearly is going to drop.
Nothing has dropped for James Madison. 0 for 7 with a couple of turnovers to start this game. Here's Kulichov. He doesn't have a hard time finding his shot. Nice extra pass, but it was ill-advised, as you might say. Right to Snowden. Stuckey Mosley trying to get in the paint. And over the top of Gorjak Gok for the first bucket for James Madison. It comes with 14-18 to go in the first half.
And yet they're only down 2 possessions. And it's not like Florida's playing great at the offensive end of the floor here, Tom.
No, just 2 for 7. Florida hasn't made a 3. 0 for 3 from deep. Talk a little bit more about what makes Florida tick from a defensive standpoint. There are some personnel on the floor that Mike White will be playing over the course of the season who primarily give him a value on the offensive end. This is a much different setup than their Elite 18 from last year.
Well, no question. I mean, you think about what makes a great defensive team, right? And there's a certain number of keys that you need to have. You need to have effort, you need to have energy, and you need to have communication. Here's a couple of components that they have. And I mentioned Kayvon Allen. He doesn't talk. Igor doesn't really talk. Jalen Hudson doesn't really talk. So what you have is you have a couple of guys on an island, and then you have usually 2 players out on the floor that are on the same page. That doesn't bode well for your defense. In any sport, you've got to be able to talk, communicate, and let people know where you are, because when you talk and communicate, it builds trust. Last year's team had it. Casey Hill, even though he was limited with some of his offensive abilities, was an excellent defensive player. Devin Robinson, who struggled for so much of his career here at Florida, decided to leave early. He became their best on-ball and help-side defensive player down the stretch of last year by the time they got to February. They don't have those guys right now. John Egbunu would really help when he comes back because at least he can solidify and protect the rim, something that they do not have right now.
I don't remember how good a defensive player you were during your time at UCLA, but you've always been a great talker. Don't you have some words to spare that you could maybe loan these guys?
I think you would think so. I think probably our bosses at times would probably say yes. A little less is more, Sean.
Trying to go high-low against the zone. Stone can't knock it down. And here comes James Madison, only down a possession after that rough start. Lewis, transition three, and he gets another one. Second triple for Matt Lewis, and a timeout for Mike White. He has been more than frustrated with their transition defense. It has been downright terrible over the last month of the season. And they gave up a transition three.
How bad has it been, Tom? They ranked 335th in the country in transition defense. You got to be able to match up. You've got to be able to stop the ball and keep it in front of you. The Gators have struggled with that even against Cincinnati. They allowed 6 of 8 in transition against them, and here they are once again.
Mike White told us today at shoot-around that leading into the Cincinnati game, they spent one practice, a portion of one practice that totaled an hour and a half doing nothing but working on transition defense. To think about how much fun that is, think about the scene from Hoosiers where they didn't practice with a ball. That's just about what he had his guys doing that day.
Well, and to get off, you had to get 2 stops in a row. And it got to a point that he literally started bringing guys together and being like, are you mad that you're still on defense because he's not stopping or he's not doing this or he's not doing that? To try to get them to start communicating and having that competitive fight and spirit at that end of the floor.
It's been a trying time for this Florida coaching staff for sure. And they turn it over here. Mike White's going immediately to the bench to find somebody. Kulichov will return. James Madison looking for its first lead of the game. James Madison is set up behind the arc on each of their last 2 possessions. Here's Matt Lewis, who has those true triples. A rushed shot. The Rowdy Reptiles may have talked him into an early one, then a foul on the rebound. And that'll take us back the other way. First on Greg Jones. Thursday, 9 Eastern. We'll take it to Reed Arena. They got something special brewing in Aggieland. The top 10 program had to come from behind and hold on last night against Corpus Christi. They'll get Buffalo Thursday at 9 o'clock on the SEC Network. What do you make of the Aggies this year?
Well, I really like them a lot, but without Admon Gilder, who's going to be out for the next 2 to 3 weeks with a knee injury, that really changes their rotation. But it could be a benefit for them moving forward in conference play because it gives time for a player like J.J. Caldwell, who sat out all of last season, then was suspended for the first 5 games to start this year, to find a rhythm in their offense.
Allen for 3, and it will roll home for Kayvon Allen, his first triple.
And boy, do they need that. Last 4 games, Tommy, just 19%. He's 4 for 21 from 3 in the last 4 games.
Shot clock at 5 now. There's that extra pass, and off the window, muscled in by Greg Jones.
Great job by Jones, keeping his feet underneath him and being balanced.
And then a sloppy pass for Florida, taken away by the Dukes, still looking for their first lead. McLean, the point guard, off the window again, and James Madison is bumped in front. This is a James Madison team that missed each of its first 7 field goal attempts. Florida couldn't pull away. Corner 3. Good. Jalen Hudson hits his first.
Good passing against the zone, finding Hudson in the corner. The Dukes have got to be there on the catch. Hudson's too dangerous from beyond the arc to give him space.
Sean, while James Madison was struggling from the floor early in this game, all Florida could do was open up a 6-0 lead. Dukes have always been within striking distance. McLean has it blocked by Allen. Came on Allen with the jam.
A quick 5-0 run by Florida. All of a sudden, the fans in attendance are excited. Good defense leading to runouts. That's what Florida did a year ago, Tom.
Yes.
They got defense that led to offense. It manufactured the offense. That's what they've got to get back to.
What percentage of Casey Hill's points came on steals, blind steals? Here's another three by Stuckey Mosley. James Madison suddenly red hot from deep. Chioza. Not much movement against that JMU zone, just as Mike White has drawn it up.
Stationary out on the perimeter. He's emphasizing ball movement, trying to whip it around the perimeter, forcing the defense to shift. Sometimes you overhelp in your zone. You don't extend out to shooters.
Teardrop won't go. Ripped down by the Gators. Devarius Hayes had that one. Blind look up to Hudson. And he gets tied up. We got a foul on the floor. And we've got a timeout on the floor. Florida's defense leading to offense.
Yeah, James Madison got in this game because of that three-point shot. That time, Kayvon Allen says not so fast. Manufactures some offense at the rim. 4-point lead for the Gators.
Well, James Madison has made a game of this one, and they did it quick. You know, all this time I thought JMU was just a football school, Sean.
Tom, let me educate you, though. They are a football school. They were #1 in the country, wire to wire this year. And they'll play for the national championship against North Dakota State. And they did it with unbelievable play. Quarterback, you got Marshall, the running back, 800 yards rushing on the season. The defense was outstanding, though, mainly because of Hawkins and Croft and Carter. They combined for 23 sacks on the season between those three guys. And they'll play January 6th for the FCS championship down in Frisco, Texas on ESPN2.
Two powerhouses right there, including the Bison. For the Dukes with 2 national titles. They won it last year and won it in 04.
Well, and of course they beat North Dakota State 27-17 last year in the national semifinal in Fargo. That ended the Bison's 5-time title defense.
Yeah, Bison pretty good.
Now, it's bowl season. It's bowl mania.
Yep.
All right, and where are you going to be? Because you're doing a couple of bowls this year.
Well, let me show you something. I've been doing a lot of prep work for my bowl game. My first one coming up this weekend, the Birmingham Bowl. South Florida and Texas Tech. And it got me thinking about you.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Cliff Kingsbury, that fantastic quarterback for Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Got me thinking Sean Farnham.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. I'm glad you're thinking of me.
It wasn't because you had a fantastic arm.
No, but I did play quarterback in high school.
I don't know if anybody's ever seen Sean Farnham, Cliff Kingsbury, and Ryan Gosselin in the same room. Has that happened?
No, I've not been around either one of them, Tom. I mean, I do live in L.A., so Ryan might be more realistic than Cliff. I don't make a lot of trips down to Lubbock.
That's still L.A., the Lubbock area. As our buddy Brian Jones would say, another 3 for the Dukes, and that one was halfway home. And we got a foul underneath. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, Sean. How about this? Sean Farnham and Cliff Kingsbury. Who's who?
I like it. Well, you know, I mean, it's true. You haven't seen me with Cliff, but I'd like to announce here tonight, as Cliff Kingsbury, that I'm really excited for Alan Bowman, the quarterback we signed today. He's going to enroll early. He had great leadership qualities. Last year when he came to camp, he was huge for us. And then, you know, 6 out of our 12 recruits at Texas Tech this year are enrolling early. It should help the Red Raiders.
Nice move by Snowden. I'm blown away. I don't know where you find the time in your day. 19-17. How about Florida against this JMU zone?
Well, can we go back to the fact that I think that Bowman and Royals, the other wide receiver recruit that we signed today, they're going to be a nice combo together. I'm looking forward to the next couple of years inside the Big 12 for Texas Tech football. Right now, it's been about the offense for both teams. Defensively, a little shaky here at the start.
Got hot after an 0 for 7 start. They've now hit 7 of their last 12 to make it a one-possession game. It's turned into a back-and-forth affair. It's turned into an up-and-down season for these Florida Gators. 6-4 now after starting 5-0. When they lost to Duke, Mike Krzyzewski called them the toughest team that we're going to face all season. They still lead the SEC in turnover margin, and Jalen Hudson second in the league in scoring at 19.5 points per game, 44% from deep.
Okay, so the overreaction is, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. We're 1 for 4 in our last 5 games. It's very similar to how Arizona fans felt after Feast Week, Tom, when they lost 3 straight games down at the Battle for Atlantis. What have they done since? They've won 6 straight. So it's not panic time in college basketball. It's time to get better. And right now, if the Gators buy into the defensive end of the floor, if they start communicating, playing with better effort and playing with more heart and more passion, they can get this train back on the right track quickly.
Can you change the stripes on a Tiger? I
Yes.
mean, personnel-wise, we know some of these guys like to play defense. We know other guys focus primarily on what they do on the offensive end.
Well, here's a great way to change it, is you put them on the bench. And you play guys that want to play your style of play. And that's going to be the challenge for Mike White, is how do you balance the offensive impact when you're giving it up at the defensive end of the floor? Look, if you can score 25 and you're giving up 20 to your man every single time, every single game, and you're not matching up in transition and it's breaking down your defense and you're losing contests, that's not good.
Mike White is thirsting for an answer here for these Florida Gators. He said it's been a lot of trial and error, trying to figure out exactly what we can get out of our guys. And he has pushed and pushed and pushed.
He is one of the best young coaches in all of college basketball. There's no doubt about it. His run that he had in the postseason last year was outstanding, well-deserved to finish off and pay off the entire season. This program's moving in the right direction. They continue to recruit well. I want to see Florida when they have Jonik Boonen. I want to see them at full strength.
We'll have to wait until late January.
Well, we'll see them then, and then we can really start to talk about this team. Like, if they're not making shots from the outside, they struggle to score the basket.
Understood. And this is a team that has coughed up late leads against a number of teams. That happened against Duke. It happened Saturday against Clemson. They're up 9 with 5 minutes to go. Coughed up an early lead against JMU tonight, and a finish at the bucket again from Matt Lewis. He's got a game-high 10, and JMU has a 2-point lead. Corner 3 and a quick one for Stone. It goes, and a chance for a 4-point play.
The last thing you want to do defensively is foul a 3-point shooter.
Madison is on number 4.
And what happens? How do you foul a 3-point shooter? Well, you're late in your closeout, you're off balance, your body weight is leaning forward. And that's just a poor closeout because you fouled so far after the shot, too. I mean, that ball was long away out of his fingertips. They could have called that after the shot and awarded Florida the ball back.
Instead of chance for a 4-point play, and Joey McLean, their 2-year starting point guard, will have to take a seat for the last 6:43 of the half. Darius Banks is a freshman from St. Petersburg, Florida, and he'll replace McLean. 4 different Gators have hit a 3 thus far tonight. Keith Stone's got him with a bonus. Mike White told us they would got to get him going. Maybe that's the shot they were looking for. Mosley high off the window. This guy can score. 7 here. 3-star recruit coming out of Timber Creek High School down in the Orlando area. Originally was a Rocket, went to Toledo for a couple of years.
Well, he's got himself in a great rhythm out on the floor. Last 2 games averaging better than 26 per contest, shooting 60% from the floor.
Michael Carew is in on the fun. He gets his first bucket. Florida by a deuce. Mosley was also a standout quarterback in high school. Tried to decide which way he would go and decided late with some extra basketball attention he'd stick with hoops. Chioza again in the passing lane, his second steal. And with the reverse, it'll go. A little bit of English off the window in the rim.
Chioza's jumping the passing lane, in particular when the ball is being thrown negatively. That means away from their basket. That's the 2nd time in a row. There's too much room, too much space, and Chioza's just too quick. He plays it wonderfully, gets his hands on the ball, and able to finish.
So Chris Chioza out of Memphis' White Station High School, same high school as Paul Feinbaum. First time you heard that, huh, Farney?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a positive.
Well, how about Joe Jackson? Is that better? He was pretty
better.
good.
Yeah. I don't know if that. I don't know if Paul impacted Chris's playing ability. Do you think he had a big impact on the basketball program there?
I don't know. I haven't seen the yearbook.
Do you think Paul played sports in high school?
I don't know.
Maybe a cross-country runner?
Could be. Chioza, lob.
Okay, and see, that's where John Igbunu would make a huge difference.
29% of Igbunu's points came on dunks.
Yeah, you throw that ball up in the air, that fella right there on your screen, he's throwing it down. And Hayes has just been completely out of rhythm at the offensive end of the floor.
Igbunu tore his ACL February 4th of last year against Auburn. Missed the remainder of the season. You referenced the postseason run that Mike White's Gators went on. The fact that they were able to do it without Igbunu surprised a lot of folks.
There was a cohesiveness in that group on the floor. The way they worked, synergy as one, in particular at this end of the floor. Remember, I just said at the start of the game, they got to stop teams from getting to the rim. How easy has it been for James Madison to get all the way to the rim?
They're beating their own guys, and there's no one left there to protect the rim either.
So where's the help side? Why is it a step slow? Because you're hugging your man. You're so concerned about your guy scoring that you're not thinking about the guy with the ball, who's the most important player out on the floor at all times.
Off of Florida, it'll be this way with James Madison. 3-point lead for the Gators. Saturday, December 30th at 1 Eastern. Will be in Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville. This will be a big one, folks. Tennessee is now ranked. The 21st ranked team in the country has to go into Arkansas to take on a very, very good and experienced Arkansas team right here on the SEC Network, also streaming live on the ESPN app. What's impressed you the most about Arkansas?
That they should be in the top 25, and it's a joke that they're not.
There you go.
They're the only team that have knocked off Trae Young in Oklahoma. What a game Trae Young had last night. I know we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but they've got Macon and Barford back this year, the two junior college transfers that both tested the waters, and Mike Anderson's team just has not been given the respect that they deserve.
Devarius Hayes with the block for Florida.
Look, they had a bad performance against Houston, and that's the only reason they're not ranked in the top 25. The only other loss came against North Carolina. They beat Minnesota, which was in the top 25. They beat Oklahoma, who's currently in the top 25. They beat a UConn team in the PK 80. They should be ranked. They're a two-loss team.
Lou Rowe is pacing the sideline. He's not happy. He thought that was a shared possession and a travel on the wing. It ends up in a Chris Chioza triple. So now the lead is 6 instead of James Madison's ball only down 3. Again inside, and again a bucket. Interior success for JMU. Ramon Snowden will be at the free throw line. Meanwhile, success from deep for the Gators. They've already hit 5 threes tonight. And Florida holding on to a tenuous lead.
Hey, coming up at the half here in the SEC Now studios, me and the shooter. Hey, first half takes, 2 games going on right now. The Gators' crazy season, and shooter, what's Vanderbilt doing with the schedule, this early schedule?
We've seen this before last year, and it worked out to their advantage. We'll see it again this year.
Coming up at halftime, we're looking forward to talking hoops with you. Let's go back to the arena for some actual hoops.
All right, Ryan McGee, great job, buddy. Great to have you in the studio. Here in Gainesville, it's a 31-27 lead for James Madison. How about the Tom Petty tribute? You know, they started this during football season. It was really something special, and it's carried over here to basketball.
My brother-in-law actually saw Tom Petty at the Hollywood Bowl in one of his final concerts earlier this year.
How about that?
Said it was a lifelong dream to watch him. Said he was amazing, and it was literally like a week later that he passed away.
So what will be incredible here at the O-Dome is when we get into conference play, this place is packed. And they're doing that at the under 4 timeout in the first half. They didn't do this for the Florida State game when we were here.
No, they did not.
That's really
It's
cool.
a partial sellout tonight, by the way.
Christmas break is upon us. Happy holidays to you and yours. Kevon Allen's got 7 for Florida. Chris Chioza has 11. The backcourt has been getting it done, but they have let James Madison slice right through him tonight. Snowden at the free throw line, and he makes it a 3-point play. He's got 5. It's a 1-possession game again. Another corner three from Stone. They go Kulichov playing the 4 for Florida. Got the rebound and had it blocked. Kulichov has only 1 bucket so far tonight.
Good call.
And then a foul on the open floor.
Lewis extended out his forearm and pushed off the defensive player. No need to do that whatsoever.
This is a James Madison team that plays with a lot of energy. They may be young and might not know each other very well in terms of still trying to get some cohesiveness on that roster as you see the call. Well, weren't you impressed with their energy today?
The first thing I wrote down on the sheet of paper that I have in front of me from the shoot-around was great energy, in particular from Matt Lewis. I just think that they come out on the floor and there's a sense of togetherness and an energy and clapping and talking and communication that lasted throughout their entire shoot-around.
They've been in the state of Florida for a while now. They had that game Saturday at Florida International. They spent some extra time in Orlando, did some go-kart riding. You know, the serious go-karts, not the ones where you have to wear a helmet. That's the real deal.
You haven't done that?
No.
I got in a horrible accident, though. I gave myself whiplash, bruising down my back.
Vocal cords weren't affected, I see.
No.
Lewis can't knock it down.
I didn't do it this past week. I did it over the summer.
Transition 3, Kulichov. Stone on the glass, and he'll throw it up. It'll get him a trip to the free throw line.
Are you a daredevil? Are you?
Oh yeah.
You like look out? What's the most craziest thing you've done?
To sat next to you.
No, besides that. Come on.
I don't know. Give me yours.
I went shark diving with great white sharks in South Africa.
Well, I don't know if I can compete with that.
Okay.
Here's Keith Stone at the free throw line.
You've never had a 19-foot great white shark swimming right in front of your face?
No, but I got bumped by a manatee once, and it scared the heck out of me. The cows at the sea, Sean. Banks takes a seat. Greg Jones returns. By the way, this is a JMU team playing without Cameron Smith tonight.
Yep.
The FIU transfer injured his knee on a drive to the basket against his former team on Saturday night. So they're missing a key part of their front court, the 6'7" product out of Tallahassee.
I think right now you got to be really pleased if you're a James Madison player, if you're Coach Lowe, or if you've graduated from James Madison and you happen to be watching this game.
They're getting ready for a big football game this weekend. Lou Rowe started his college career, as you mentioned earlier, playing for Lon Kruger here in Florida and transferred to play for Lefty Drizel at JMU. Those are two legitimate, great basketball coaches he had a chance to play for. Kulichov steps through. Again, he's struggling from the floor.
Well, that one probably should have been a dump off to his teammate who was sneaking around the backside, but good help side defense on that last possession down here by Hayes.
3 ball. Barely hit the rim from Zach Jacobs, a freshman from Richmond, Virginia, who just entered. Ballard has it stripped on his way in. They're on the floor for it, and James Madison comes out of there with it. Mosley, lob, and a recovery and lay-in to Matt Lewis. A dozen now for Lewis. It's a 1-point game again.
Transition points, too. All right, so everybody in the white jersey was watching Hayes dive for the ball. Nobody was sprinting back to get in front of the 3 Dukes that were running at him.
Allen tried to get through the gap. He went right into the defender.
That is just, that you blind? Like, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be overly harsh, but what were you looking at if you're Kayvon Allen on this play? Watch the ball. Here he comes, right at him. Where are you going? What are you doing? You're forcing it. Guess what he had available to him on that play, Tom?
What did he have?
A 3-point shot. Just take the shot. Just take the shot.
He's knocked down 1 of 3 from deep. They're trying to get him to be more aggressive offensively.
You want me to be more aggressive as a broadcaster?
No, you're wearing big boy pants.
I can run right through you. It's just not a smart play. You can be aggressive, but you have to be smart. You take yourself out of the game.
James Madison looking for another lead. We've had 3 ties and 4 lead changes. Corner 3, Mosley. And Chioza finds it. Hudson, he'll shoot it. And he left it short. 6 seconds, a different shot clock, game clock. And the Dukes will fire up one quickly. That was halfway home.
I think that was an ill-advised shot that time for the Dukes. He realized time and possession. Yes, there was a small differential between the shot clock and game clock. Hold up and get a good possession there.
James Madison started this game 0 for 7. They've shot 50% from the floor since then. Here's Jalen Hudson, three-point threat, 5 on the clock. Tried to split the defenders, forgot the basketball. We've got a jump ball. It will stay this way. 2.7 left. What does Florida draw up?
Well, I think you're going to look to get the ball in Chiozza's hands. He's the guy that most frequently in this situation, watch for him to inbound the ball and get it right back immediately. They usually break out either way and then get a dribble handoff and try to get him curling and going to the basket. You have enough time for really 2 dribbles. Here's the handoff.
There it is. And Chiozza for 3. Almost banked it home. Well, your film work paid off. Nice work, Mr. Farnham. 31-30, Florida's lead at the half. It looked like they were in firm control of this thing, but they couldn't ever stretch the lead. 3 ties, 4 lead changes. 1-point game at the break. Let's get you to the studio. My man, Ryan McGee.
Thank you, fellas. Nice job there in the first half down in Gainesville. Ryan McGee joining you now with the shooter.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. So you and I are kicking back and watching some hoops tonight. While the football guys are down the hallway stressing this recruiting stuff, and we're watching hoops. What do you think of what we saw of Florida? Kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team this year.
It is, and it's funny how defense and offense are so tightly connected. And when Florida does not play the kind of defense they're capable of, when they don't keep dribble penetration out of the lane and allow easy buckets, boy, their offense struggles too. It's just so connected. You know, it's funny to watch when they struggle to score. Now they start forcing shots and they get out of their comfort zone. You saw my man, who I love, Kayvon Allen, do an uncharacteristically out of control for him. That's your defense creating your offense and making easy shots, because right now Florida, like you said, a little up and down, Jekyll and Hyde. Everything starts with their defense, and that's their coach, Mike White. I played against Mike White in college. He wasn't going to shoot it. You didn't have to worry. Coach White, I love you, but you didn't have to worry.
The shooter says he's a shooter.
That's right. Coach White understands what makes this team go, and it's defense.
Look at this. This is when I say Jekyll and Hyde, this is what I'm talking about. First 5 games, 5-0, got all the way up to 5th in the national rankings. Last 5 games, 1-4. Why?
Ryan, I did the Florida-New Hampshire game early on. A lot of it was their inability to keep teams out of the lane. Even New Hampshire, who is a good team, and they're going to have a good season in their league, but they were getting the ball wherever they wanted to. They were on the block, being able to post up. So you see those numbers. Their offense will become a lot better when their defense decides to get tough, get mean, get angry, just fight, scratch, claw. And that's going to be what takes this Florida team back into where they were last year, deeper into the tourney.
So you think we will see the team we saw in the first 5 games return?
Oh, bruh. Coach White is going to get it out of them. It's going to be one of those things where I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will happen. I'm going to get you to play the kind of basketball that I want you to, one way or another.
Man, almost 103 points per game in those first 5 games. And listen, the schedule is what it is. And now less than 69 points. Tonight, they're kind of on pace for that kind of night as opposed to a triple-digit night.
Well, right now, they're allowing 76 points, which is 12th in the SEC from a defensive standpoint. And they've got the athletes. They've got the toughness that we talked about. It's just the want to. You know, do you want to go out there and prioritize defense, have that sense of urgency? They were able to go out early on in the year, shoot the ball well, just shot it off the charts. But if you're going to sustain success throughout the course of the year, guess what doesn't travel sometimes too well? Is that jump shot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just can't pack up that jump shot and go on the road. You've got to rely on effort, energy, and defense.
You got to have your head in the game. That's what the shooter's saying. Speaking of having your head in the game, there is another game going on right now. Vanderbilt. This will be a great baseball game, Houston Baptist and Vanderbilt. But instead, they're playing basketball tonight. We'll check in on that and talk about Vandy's season and their chance. And, here's your boy, Mr. Allen.
That's it. That's a high percentage shot right there. So much ease.
It travels. That shot travels.
That shot travels, baby.
Another game happening right now in the SEC. That'd be Vandy hosting Houston Baptist. Matthew Fisher-Davis He's working off the screen here. Oh, you love the screen that opens up to three, don't you, Shooter?
That's it, man. And he caught it, got on balance. You saw that. He's tall, so he can get it up over his defender.
Here's Riley LeChance. That's another three. He had 11 so far in the first half. A lot of guys spreading the ball, a lot of threes. I've seen a lot of 6s and 7s and 8s in that box score right now with all these guys.
But that's it. They can shoot the ball well. Look at how they're moving the ball right now. Oh, okay, right there. Step behind LeChance. Knows exactly what to do when he gets it, and we've been seeing that kid seems like about 10 years now.
That game's over on SEC Network Plus, as you know, here in the studio. We got all the channels. Look at the strength of schedule. Vanderbilt, 13th in the nation strength of schedule. All these other guys are ahead of them. They're hanging. They're 3-7 in that schedule. Is this what you're going through to be ready for the big dance, hopefully?
Well, they've set a big-time challenge for themselves, and last year they did that as well, and it turned out to be a positive for them because they did get into the tournament, and I thought they had a chance to win a couple of games, just didn't go their way, but that toughens you up. It allows you to understand what you have right now as a team. And I'm going to tell you, they're struggling to score the ball, last in the SEC. The only SEC team that's not averaging at least 70 points a game. Now, shooting the ball like that, which we know Fisher Davis can do it, Riley LeChance can shoot the ball, Willis can shoot the ball. They've got to now spread the floor out, quick passes. They're sitting at 8 turnovers in the first half. You know what that does? It eliminates offensive possessions. You're hurting yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot by not taking care of the ball. Value possessions. Now, Houston Baptist is throwing some junk defenses at them, but you've got to understand, value the ball. You're going to get more shots, better shots, and you just saw some of the highlights there. When you play a schedule that tough, and we see Tennessee, and they're fighting, and we see Vanderbilt, and they're fighting. When you play a schedule that tough, at this point in the year when your record is what it is it doing more damage than it's doing good when you're trying to get ready for the stretch run? Well, there's definitely a balancing act that Coach has to have because of you don't want to get the guys too down. You don't want to beat them down too much. But they've got some seniors now. We talk about Riley LeChance, who's been through that. He's been through the battles. And so he understands how to balance it. And hopefully they'll be able to have a successful run come conference play. That's one of the games going on. We're going to take you back out soon to the main game we've been watching tonight. That's down at Florida. Here's your boy, Chris Chioza. That's how you do it right there. The high grab. Oh, what was that? Ooh, hang time for the cheese. We're all about the Cruton today. It's the new early National Signing Day. SEC has a huge presence. How about the Georgia Bulldogs? All the way up to #1 today. Hunker down, y'all, with some recruits. And how about this matchup here? It's the Big Orange against the Purple Paladins of Furman, right? What's a Paladin? All I know is Tennessee needs to bounce back. It's a Christian warrior. I do know that. I don't know why it's purple. Yeah, see, there you go. What don't you know? I used to live down that way. Oh, how about this? It's a 1-point game down in Florida. They're going, James Madison's hanging. The Dukes are hanging, Shooter. You got to tighten it up, create some easy scoring opportunities for the Gators. I know what that is.
Well, it's been a game of runs, and as we get ready to start the second half, Florida's got a 1-point lead on James Madison. Gators trying to get up the schneid, but so far their defense hasn't let them get there. Tom Hart alongside Sean Farnham. You pointed out a lot of things that Florida needed to do to get better and to reclaim their form from early in the season. Have you seen any of it?
Well, let me first point out you're wearing 2 pocket squares. It's a very nice touch, Tom. Meanwhile, though, if you look at Florida, some of the things that they did successful in the first half, well, they got the shot going a little bit from the outside. On a numbers value, 5 made 3-pointers in the first half. However, the percentage-wise is actually lower than the 31% they've had over the last 5 games. Defensively, this is where they're continuing to struggle. They're allowing James Madison to attack them. 8 of their 12 made field goals have come in the paint. They've been able to be +6, even though they don't necessarily have the same athletes or the same size of even Florida. They've been comfortable scoring at the rim. That has to improve here in the second half of the Florida Gators. If not, James Madison's playing for a win.
Trying to start a trend with the double pocket square. It was a game of trends in the first half. JMU used a 10-3 run to get their first lead after Florida scored the first 6 points. And Florida went on a 12-4 run. James Madison a 5-0 run to end the half. Mike White still looking for answers. He shed the jacket early, and he is focused and dialed in and looking for Some positives from the scene.
He's like you too, and he still hasn't found what he's looking for right now. I mean, because Tom, 8 turnovers to go along with the fact that they're shooting 29% beyond the arc, and they've allowed this opponent to score at ease underneath.
Yeah, the streets have no name. The name of the game for JMU has been get straight to the rim. Of their points in the first half, 28 of the 30 have come either in the paint, from behind the arc, and 3 free throws. I mean, in the new game of basketball where it says ignore the mid-range jumper, JMU is doing exactly what you want to do. Nice look, extra pass, 3 from Allen, got it.
All right, and see, they go back to that play in the first half when they made the extra pass and he got the charge. Just shoot the shot.
Yeah.
You're a shooter, score the ball. And that time, a beautiful job by Kayvon Allen to have his feet set underneath him, ready to go, and a great kick out from underneath.
Came in with 16 threes on the season. Kayvon Allen's got 2 here tonight, and he's into double figures.
Share the ball offensively, get the ball in the middle of the zone, hit the baseline, space out, and relocate, forcing a little bit of a different angle on their closeout. Kayvon Allen found an easy one.
Kulichov hasn't gotten it going yet tonight. Just 1 for 6. Maybe that'll be it as he banks one home.
And Florida got off to a great start the game, a 6-0 run, before finally James Madison was able to score.
JMU started 0 for 7 and a slow start to this half as well.
Is there something going on at this side of the court where guys can't see the people standing in front of them, Tom? I mean, we show you this again. What are you looking at? You're driving into traffic. If there are 2 or 3 defensive players wearing white jerseys around you, you know what that means, Tom? Somebody's open.
It's like
jump stop, pass, and kick the ball.
It's like ignoring the red lights on Archer.
You only did that twice today. I don't think they're photo enforced.
Kulichov thought he was on a run and couldn't knock that one down. They really rely on him for offense, and it hasn't happened yet tonight. James Madison had great success in the first half with straight line drives, just getting right down the lane and to the rim.
Phillips forgot something, and that something was a basketball. And that's 4 straight turnovers for James Madison.
Chioza will tee one up. Kulichov on the glass. They don't talk. They don't talk on defense. They don't talk on offense. Kayvon Allen with his second personal foul.
Communication is caring. And it might sound corny, but it's 100% fact. Out on the basketball court, call for the ball. You know, there's times when I was in high school or college, I'd post up and I want the ball, but I didn't say anything. But guess what? If you're not talking, you don't deserve the basketball.
Kulichov tried to take the charge. He did so. 5 straight turnovers for James Madison. This was a 1-point game at the half.
And Mike White all smiles on the sideline. He said, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Coach White seeing a little bit of defense, a little bit of hustle, a little bit of effort here out of the halftime break.
Not only that, but that was the 3rd foul on the point guard, Joey McLean. They're going to have to get him out before he picks up his 4th. That would be hugely detrimental. Allen rips home another one from the corner. 2 threes this half.
Basketball is a really simple game when you play it right. Your opponent's going to zone you, and you can shoot the ball like Florida does. Get the ball inside. Force the defense to collapse. That's what they're trained to do in their zones in most cases. But Florida's not most cases because they have guys that can shoot the ball.
DeVell Phillips takes it strong, and the DePaul transfer will be at the free throw line.
Now watch, the ball gets down low, you swing it out. The weak side of the zone had pinched all the way into the paint. And let me ask you this. Are you more concerned, Tom, as a play-by-play guy that's covered this team multiple times now, are you worried about the interior presence of Florida hurting you?
No.
Or are you more concerned with the guys on the perimeter?
It's almost like you didn't want me to answer the question. I started it, yeah.
I mean, so you don't collapse defensively on Hayes, who's struggling and struggles to score when there's somebody between him and the rim. Instead, pinch in, stunt a little bit, but be able to close back out to shooters. And James Madison didn't do that on that last possession.
That's the first point of the night for DeVell Phillips, a junior from Bowie, Maryland. Chioza just blows by 3 dudes. Kulichov shares it, and Stone had it stripped. Tripped to the free throw line coming for Hayes, who was fouled on his way up.
Chris Chioza starts the entire play, breaking down the defense, coming right at the rim. And then because of that, it was a scramble situation on the inside, and James Madison did not have good interior possession.
Kavarius Hayes. First point of the night. Can't stop the ugly sweaters, can you?
Well, I like the ugly sweater. You have one?
Oh, yeah.
How many do you have?
I got 2.
Why don't you wear one? Why don't you bring one? It's the holiday season.
Didn't want to check my luggage.
I did.
One of those, the male cheerleaders is wearing a Christmas sweater that lights up.
I like that commercial the NFL's running right now, where the guy wears the Raiders light-up sweater to a Chiefs house.
Just turn off the sweater. Another offensive foul on James Madison, and that is Matt Lewis. It's his second. Both of them have come kind of push up. Yeah, there it is. Anytime your clothing item has a battery pack to it, you're doing something right. Yes, sir, you know.
He knows he's on TV.
Only thing would help that out if he doubled up pocket squares.
It's a good look. Are you glad I pointed that out at halftime? I don't think America was taking note to your fashion sense.
Kind of feel like he gave away my secret. We got a lost shoe again.
Watch, he puts it on, Tom, because it's still loose with the lace. I don't want you to ask the same question twice in one game.
Those are the ones they got in Portland, right?
Yes.
I want to leave in the Pacific Northwest.
Or how about just tie them properly? He still doesn't even have it on his foot right.
Playing in slippers. Snowden 3. Ramon Snowden hits his first triple. And Kavarius Hayes will have a moment to try and tie his shoes properly. All cheers if school's out, getting ready for the holidays. 41-34, Florida in front of James Madison. This is a Florida team that came in having lost 4 of their last 5. Trying to get the sparkles working, and they're dazzling a little bit tonight, aren't they?
Kayvon Allen in particular averaging 11 points per game on the season. He's got 13 already tonight, and he's done it in the second half from beyond the arc. And I think part of the reason why Allen's gotten off to a slow start this year is because of the Kulichov and Hudson start to the season. They shot the ball and scored so well early that he became too complacent as a complementary part. He is not a complementary part. Mike White was telling us today at shoot-around, he consistently is telling him, shoot the ball. Shoot the ball. You want him to be more aggressive, and when he gets his feet set underneath him, you just believe that it's going down. He's too good of a basketball player to be shooting the ball as he has over the last 4 games at 19% from beyond the arc. Tonight, 3 of 5.
In that win against Cincinnati, he only took 5 shots, only scored 2 points. A dozen against Clemson last time out, and now 13 tonight.
Tom, would you believe me if I told you James Madison is shooting 100% here in the second half?
Yeah, I do now. But
they've only attempted 1 shot. And it's been all turnovers here in the second half that has allowed for runouts. Florida turns those turnovers into a 7-point lead.
And that's why James mad. Welcome back to Exec Tech Arena, the O-Dome here in Gainesville, Florida. This is where Lou Rowe played for a couple years before transferring to James Madison, where he played for Letcher Gazelle. Started here for Lon Kruger as a freshman. And then was on the floor when these two teams last met in 1994 Nassau Coliseum, first round of the NCAA tournament. It took a late Florida comeback to beat James Madison and Lou Rowe in that game. And it's a game he still hasn't forgotten for good reason. He was one of their top scorers. He was a 1,000-point scorer in just 2 seasons. He missed 5 free throws in that game. It turned into a 1-possession game. Roommates with Craig Brown. He said, I was able to Find some joy in that run that Lon Kruger's team went on to make it to their very first Final Four, 1994, in the Queen City of Charlotte.
Remember Andrew DeClerc?
Sure.
He worked with him not that long ago.
Andrew DeClerc was on that Florida team. So was my buddy Dan Williams. Here's Chiozza into the paint. A little mid-range too strong.
So James Madison in the first 20 minutes had 5 turnovers. In the first 4 minutes and 15 seconds, they had 6. That's not a high value of the basketball coming out of the break.
How many of those were charges?
2.
Jalen Hudson commits his second personal. Those 6 turnovers led to 8 Florida points. DeAndre Ballard returns. Turnovers to points. It's something that I'm sure Dan Mullen wants to do next year on the football field. He had a pretty good day today, first day of the early signing period. Stolen away by Chiozza. Chiozza's got Kulichov instead to Ballard. But if you look at it from a basketball perspective, that's what Mike White's team was so good at last year, turning turnovers into points.
And that's why you've got to be able to be elite at the defensive end of the floor. You need to communicate. You need to play with great heart. You need to play with passion. I've never questioned about Chris Chiozza. Chiozza has been bought in from day one. And what he needs to do is become that infectious leader where it starts bringing everybody else around him to understand and stress the importance of becoming an elite defensive team. They've still allowed James Madison to score too easy at the rim, in particular here in the first half. But you look at the SEC, and you look at the quality of depth in the conference this year. If Florida doesn't start defending better, it's going to struggle in SEC play.
Ballard was late trying to get through. He commits his second personal. Already some surprises in the league this year, but it's I think it's hard sometimes, Sean, to look at a non-conference record and to predict how those teams are going to perform in conference play. I think Kentucky is one of those teams that is only going to get better as the season goes along because they're so young. Nice move by Stuckey Mosley. A&M seems like the kind of program that's going to be excellent all the way through.
Correct. And I look at Arkansas and Missouri. Look, Missouri's might be a better team actually without Michael Porter. And hear me out on it. They miss Michael Porter because of his elite level scoring. You're talking about a guy who's going to be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. Could be top 2, depending upon how he heals. But they have had to play as a collective group. They haven't been able to play through an elite level player where the ball would tend to get stagnant. At some of those early practices, you pass the ball to Michael Porter and everything kind of stopped. Now, because you don't have him, it's more of a cohesive unit. His brother becoming an excellent shot blocker, had a huge one last night. Alabama just got back Braxton Key. They have Colin Sexton, and I know I'm projecting here, but I cannot wait for the Big 12 SEC challenge when Alabama takes on Oklahoma and you have the 2 best point guards in the country from the freshman class, Trae Young and Colin Sexton, going head-to-head.
We should get on that game.
I already have a game that day.
Oh, Trae Young had 22 assists. That was a new NCAA record last night. He tied one that was held by a couple players, including Avery Johnson. I'm just gonna hold you to this though. To say that Missouri plays better as a team without Michael Porter Jr., I will buy. To say Missouri is better as a team without Michael Porter, no.
They're not better. They play more cohesive.
Sure.
And because they play more cohesive,
let's talk.
You have multiple weapons. It allows Puryear. It allows guys like Tillman, who's continuing to find himself, and they're forcing the defense to have to rotate rather than what happens a lot of times, and it's kind of we saw it at Ben Simmons. He touches the ball and everybody else stands and watches.
Stolen away by Darius Banks, and Banks is able to, they're going to count it.
Do you understand what I'm saying on that?
Yeah, I wanted to give you a chance to explain it, because when you first said it, you said they were a better team without Michael Porter. You can't take a top 5 lottery pick guy off of a team and say a team's better. You're saying that they play more as a team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me, Tom. I appreciate that.
I'm good at that.
I'm going to hold you to that quality all season long, okay?
It's a 7-0 run for James Madison. They've turned it into a 1-possession game, and now Snowden gets his hands on it. AMU playing aggressive on the defensive end on the last steal. Thursday at 9 Eastern, taking to Aggieland. Number 8, Texas A&M, two of the best bigs in the league, and a pretty good guard in Dwayne Wilson, who's been magnificent for him early in the season, hosting Buffalo. Buffalo was at Syracuse last night, if I'm not mistaken. And a foul inside on James Madison.
You mentioned
right here on the SEC Network, also streaming live on the ESPN app. I'm contractually obligated to read those two lines.
All right, well, Texas A&M last year turned the ball over a crazy amount of times. Almost a quarter of all of their possessions ended in a turnover a season ago. That was because of guard play. Dwayne Wilson has dramatically helped and assisted in that one particular area.
Here's big three for the Aggies.
Does it pick me up, Stu? Stu Kerwin! Can you hear Jason Slater?
Oh, yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm looking at Hayes shoot the free throw, and you're like, it's a big three for the Aggies. I'm like, what is he talking about? The Gators are at the free throw line here.
There's this thing called a monitor. It's right in front of you.
I was more intrigued with what was going on the court. Usually someone says, hey, Sean, we're going to throw a graphic in here.
Yeah.
Tom was talking. I couldn't hear him.
James Madison can tie it with a bucket here and take a lead with a three and another whistle.
Yeah, by the way, Robert Williams and Tyler Davis are good here. That paid off the graphic. You happy?
Yes, thank you. It's a third on Jalen Hudson.
Tell me this doesn't feel exactly like the first half all over again. Florida gets out to a good lead.
Yeah, every half of you feels like Groundhog Day.
And then all of a sudden, James Madison just starts whittling it away.
Wilson. Brought down by Hudson, then he lost it, by Hayes, but he couldn't hold it on his way to the floor. James Madison once again has a chance to take the lead. I think he hit on something. This is a Florida team, either defensively or overall, that just doesn't have that killer instinct like they did last year. Here's Hayes on the glass.
They get complacent when they get leads. And when the offense is flowing, things get better at the defensive end of the floor. It needs to be the other way around.
Rebounded that time by Banks. That was a very quick shot. Did you like it?
No.
Lewis in traffic. Stone has it. It's a Florida team that always wants to go up-tempo. Mike White understands that that's where they're going to get the majority of their looks. So he's hesitant to have them be more structured in the half court or to slow down offensively because there's no guarantee that they'll get buckets that way.
You want them to play free and you want them to play aggressive, but you have to play smart. And when the ball is in the hands of Chris Chiozza, that's usually what you get. They invert the offense, have Chiozza post up, and then he kicks out to a wide open shooter.
They've had a lot of success isolating Chris Chiozza. Went to that set late against Cincinnati in that big win. Three ball. Good. Right over the top of Chiozza. Out of the hands of Darius Banks. We've got a two-point game again.
It shouldn't be a surprise. James Madison has played in 7 consecutive games that have been decided by single digits. And they've only won 3 of those games. They have kept it tight.
Okaru, he answers with the triple, his first of the night. And a timeout taken. Florida leads by 5. They're getting all they can handle from the Dukes.
Chiozza, back-to-back possessions, playing with his back to the basket, finds a wide open shooter. 6 points, Florida.
Athletic Director Scott Strickland, head football coach Dan Mullen in the O-Dome tonight. Dan Mullen and his Florida football team had 13 signees today on the first day of the early signing period. He'll be entering his first year as a head coach here with the Gators after being on Urban Meyer's staff before going to Mississippi State and taking a bunch of 3-stars and making them superstars. 2 key words for Dan Mullen on signing day today, Sean. Positional versatility.
What does that mean, Tom, in football terms?
Well, that means if, let's say, you're a defensive end, you might play linebacker here. If you're a great athlete, we might put you at a defensive back. We might put you at wide receiver. We don't know yet. Just show up and be ready to play because we want athletes.
How do you think he's going to do?
I think he's going to do fantastic. I think he was the best hire in the SEC this offseason. He's a guy who put together a top 5 program at Mississippi State with a bunch of 3-star guys and a quarterback by the name of Dak Prescott. They got another great quarterback in today, Emory Jones out of LaGrange, Georgia. They haven't had a reliable quarterback here at Florida since Tim Tebow.
How about the SEC just continuing to load up? I know after day 1, and this is unique. This is the first time they've had the early signing period in football.
Yep.
Do you like it? It takes away some of the luster on February 7th, right?
Well, maybe. I think the toughest part is you look at what Kirby Smart did, and they racked up the #1 recruiting class in the nation. I was watching ESPNU this afternoon with Matt Schick and Tom Luganville, and Matt Stinchcomb's doing a hit from Athens. And here comes Kirby Smart, who was busy coaching his team this afternoon on signing day and came in to do an interview with Stinch. And if you don't have the hay in the barn, it can be a pretty stressful time trying to get ready for your bowl.
Well, it's not just any bowl game either. I mean, you're talking about the college football playoffs.
Georgia had never had a top 5 recruiting class in back-to-back seasons. They've done that now. #1 class in the country as of today. They've got the #1 guard, the #2 guard, the #1 offensive lineman, the #3 running back, the #1 quarterback.
And the quarterback is #1 overall, right?
Yes,
Fields?
yeah.
And he was banged up and hurt a little bit this year, but you take a look at the college football playoffs. Oklahoma versus Georgia, Clemson, Alabama. Alabama going to be a lot more healthy in that game on Jan 1 than they have been in the last month for Nick Saban.
They just lost a linebacker this week. There's Chioza,
But
knocks the first one
they
down.
get a couple of those guys back, though, right?
Yeah, it's a trade.
I mean, at least you get somebody back.
Nick Saban has said, I've never seen anything like it, especially from his inside linebacker position.
I mean, for a large part of the season, it was like they were on their 4th-string linebacker.
Another one coming from Chioza.
I'm looking forward to that game, though, between Oklahoma and Georgia.
You going to go? Be out in your neck of the woods?
I might. I've got Georgia, Kentucky on the 31st to start SEC basketball play. But here's my scouting report on Baker Mayfield. Tell me what you think. He's unbelievable. He's dynamic. So you got to limit his opportunity, and that's by running the ball. And that happens to be what Georgia does best. And defensively, Georgia needs to squeeze Mayfield in the pocket. They only average about 2 sacks per game to the Georgia Bulldogs, but they have great strength. And if you can keep Mayfield away from the playmaking outside the pocket, I think you give yourself a great opportunity. You like that?
You should do a mega cast.
I'd love to. You and I on a mega cast for a college football playoff game would be outstanding television.
Thought for a moment that's what this was tonight. Lazy pass. Chioza still finds it. He's able to feed Okaru, and he'll go to the line. Phillips commits his 3rd. Chris Chioza's speed made that play happen.
And again, it's getting the ball quickly and throwing it up the court in transition. Defense scattered, looking to attack aggressively. A nice job by Chioza. Everybody's tying their shoes tonight, Tom. Maybe Mike White needs to have that at practice. Instead of just defensive transition, I think it's work on tying shoes.
We've had
John Wooden used to do that at the start of every practice. How do you put on your sock? How do you tie your shoe?
every practice or every season?
Yeah.
Okay. Florida's on a 10-3
I had one
run.
practice where John Wooden coached me. He did it.
Hayes had a hard time keeping his shoes tied in the first half.
It's important how you put your sock on. You avoid blisters.
Mosley gives it up. An extra pass inside, and DeVell Phillips has his first field goal. Gets it back to a 7-point game.
Now he's passed out of this for 2 3-pointers already in this half. That was an off-balance shot by Allen.
Open three, Banks, nothing but net. Darius Banks has a pair of triples here in the second half. It's now a 4-point game.
James Madison is a direct reflection of their head coach. There's a no-quit mentality in them, and they just keep coming. It doesn't matter what the score is. They're going to stay true to who they are. They're going to be them, and they're going to try to improve and get better game after game. We asked Coach Rowe, are you going to change anything against the Florida Gators? Anything different? He goes, why would I do that? I don't want to sacrifice 3 games in conference to try to get a win out of conference. We've just got to test our system against a team that I feel is very elite.
Lost on the baseline by Phillips.
Phillips has forgot the ball at least a couple of times tonight. Yeah, he's got to settle it down and play with a little bit better composure when he gets the catch.
Florida's shooting only 31% this half. But they have hit 4 of 10 from deep. Allen with the left hand. Count it. And he's going to the free throw line as McLean commits his 4th.
See, unlike the drive that he had in the first half, do you notice his body control on that drive? Seeing where the defender was. He comes off, the defense is set, step to the side, use your touch and athleticism, able to finish. Such a smoother and better move by Kayvon Allen.
We should just listen in here and see if Florida talks on defense. Want to try it?
Yep, let's do it. Well, you're not going to hear the guys yelling behind us.
Yeah.
The 4 of them that are here. You want me to ask them to be quiet?
No, I don't know if we could do that. They'll stay with Florida.
Florida basketball.
They don't get the name Rowdy Reptiles for nothing.
No, they're passionate. They're trying to figure out who the last foul was on over there at the scorer's table right now.
The previous James Madison foul is under review.
These guys are right behind us.
Just to identify who the foul is on.
All right, they figured it out.
Foul is charge number 4. Joey McLean is 4th.
Is the 4th on McLean, as we said when it occurred.
I don't know.
Joey McLean wants, he wants to be a car salesman, you told me.
He wants to be a car salesman, so I went up to him, and you read things in bios, and sometimes guys have just got great personalities, and they'll make things up. I said, do you really want to be a car salesman? He said, yeah, I want to own my own business. I figured cars is something that I love, so why not? I said, what's your favorite car? And he said, a Lamborghini. I said, okay. I got a family of 3, though, and I got a budget of $60,000. What should I buy? He said, well, clearly an SUV.
Gorjak Gok has a budget of 60 grand now.
I said, okay, so an SUV. What kind of SUV? And he said, the safety ratings actually on the Volvo are pretty good. I said, that's good intel.
I'd recommend you to buy used and get 2 cars. Here's Snowden, and he hits another triple. That's his 2nd 3 of this half. And whenever Florida starts to pull away, James Madison has an answer. That answer came from Snowden earlier for Florida just moments ago. Is a follow jam by Gorjak Gok. We got a 5-point game. Florida getting all it can handle from James Madison. It's a 5-point lead for the Gators. 7:29 to go in this one. Let's take a look at tonight's good hands play. Brought to you by Allstate.
So for Florida, it goes to Kayvon Allen. The sidestep of the potential charge, the extension of the left arm, and the great finish off the glass for the very talented Kayvon Allen.
He is also silent, stoic. Not much emotion from him on the floor.
Basketball should be an emotional sport. You should have fun. You should smile. You should enjoy playing the game.
There's a guy that smiles for James Madison. Alex Schultz is his name. He's in uniform now, but for the first couple of years, or last year at least, he was a manager on the team. And we watched Schultz today during practice. He can't help but smile.
No.
Non-stop. I mean, for an hour and a half practice, all he did was
right
smile.
Now. He's just listening to the referee, just smiling. Hey, it's funny, and we asked him afterwards, "Do you always smile?" He goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Sometimes I get in trouble for smiling."
He's got the resting smile face.
Coach will yell at him during practice for doing something wrong, and he just smiles right back to him. I don't think there's anything more frustrating that can be done. When my kids do, it drives me nuts.
I guess you would be smiling too if you went from a manager to having a uniform and being on the team. He must have been the biggest manager in college basketball at 6'11" last year. Hudson for three.
The interesting is this: how does it impact the manager games, though, for James Madison?
They lost the key one, but they won last night. Wow. Phillips went for the poster. He got nothing. Here's Chiozza. No numbers. And he couldn't get out of trouble. We got a foul on the drive. And that'll be on Stuckey Mosley, his third. The starting backcourt for James Madison has combined 7 personal fouls now.
The last possession is the aggressiveness you love out of Phillips, but he probably could have extended and finished that one off the glass, and then it ends to Chiozza just changing of speeds. So often when you talk about point guards and you talk about Chris Chiozza, you talk about his end-to-end speed, and he's quick. He's lightning quick. But one of the things that he does really well, Tom, is he change of pace. He really does a nice job of hitting the brakes, forcing the defense to stop, and then immediately going, because his first step is faster than most defensive players.
And there's his grandma, Pearlie Crenshaw, that he has her likeness on his left arm. Used to play with her name in the shoes last year. Let's see if we can hear Florida talk on defense. What'd you think?
No talking, but it worked out okay for him on that possession. And that's the thing. It struggles because you have a possession where literally, if you watch the mouths of the players, they're not calling out screens. They're not showing. They're a step slow. Their gaps are a little too wide. And yet they create a turnover opportunity. So how much better would they be, Tom, if they just turned it up 2 notches? You know, I mean, just literally, if they just talked, their defense would become better.
It's a third on Matt Lewis. Foul trouble continues for James Madison.
And this could be a problem when you bring transfers in. You know, and I'm not putting on Jalen or Igor. All right, but when you bring new components in, the dynamics and the togetherness can change. And it's important that your culture, and this is Mike White's culture and Mike White's program, that they get the buy-in factor in those regards just as much as they have the freedom at the offensive end of the floor to do the things that they do so well. There's a reason why this team went to the Elite Eight a year ago. There's a reason why this team captivated the nation with its shooting ability and the way that it's played and the heart and the hustle that it showed and demonstrated at the PK80 tournament. Can you bottle that up, though, and bring it every night?
Great try, but it was challenged by Allen. Thrown back up by James Madison, and nothing doing. Dwight Wilson trying to force it. Here's Chiozza now.
Good poise right here by Chiozza. Late in the shot clock, look for them to get on the ball back, set an on-ball screen if they can. Here comes Hayes.
Hudson on the back door.
There's the back screen by Hayes, and then it was going to become an on-ball screen, but Hudson was open, and Chiozza delivered the dime.
Banks with the air ball. Florida trying to add to what is now a 9-0 run. Hudson, the Virginia Tech transfer, a little up and under. And the loose ball foul will go against Florida.
This last possession, the back screen, the beautiful pass by Chiozza. Hudson able to finish underneath. A good opportunity, though, here for James Madison, Tom. A foul away from on the rebound opportunity, would have been an offensive rebound for Florida, has led to free throws now for James Madison. Slowing down this game manufacturing points at the free throw line could be very beneficial for them here.
James Madison second in the Colonial free throw percentage as a team at 73. Snowden just 50% though. And one more coming for Snowden. Saturday, December 30th, 1 o'clock Eastern. SEC play gets started. We'll take you to Fayetteville. Number 20 Tennessee taking on Arkansas right here on the SEC Network. Also streaming live on the ESPN app. Snowden knocks him down.
Oh, wait, is he a traitor? I don't know. Who knows? Oh, wait, no. It's a whistleblower. Whistleblower.
Chioza splits the defenders. He gets right to the rim.
Way too easy.
Saw that happen with a manager today, JMU's practice.
They have the hardest playing manager on a walkthrough that I've ever seen in college basketball history.
Look at Snowden. He is perfect today. Hasn't missed a shot from the field, hasn't missed a shot from the line.
And consistently has been the guy that's answered these runs by Florida. If you're James Madison, though, and you want to try to give yourself a chance in these final 4 minutes, you've got to be able to string together about 3 or 4 stops in a row right now. There's one.
Lewis waiting for the screen. Created some space, and Allen commits a foul. That's his third. 68-57. Florida with the lead. 3:28 to go from the O-Dome. Can the Dukes get back into this thing? Well, tonight, SEC Now will have a full breakdown of all the hoop games at 11 Eastern, a full breakdown of National Signing Day as well. You can also see it streaming live on the ESPN app. Ron McGee in the house along with the shooter to cover the basketball side of things. And I'm sure a full team of experts chipping in the signing day perspective. My guy's sweater is lit.
You know what he was doing earlier today? Came in with the beat on. Listen to your boy Post Malone. He wants to be a rock star.
Yeah. One when we're going to get our Post Malone reference in. I believe someone can call out bingo now. Florida's 11 for 23 from 2, 10 for 29 from 3. They've shot more threes than twos. Their second most attempts from behind the arc this season. Can they survive? And by what I mean survive is reach their potential by shooting more threes than twos.
It is their strength, Tom. And the current roster and the way it's set up, yes. Because it's what they do best. But when John Ekunu comes back, I think you've got to utilize him on on-ball screens and allow those guards to manufacture points, get to the free throw line. He sets a mean screen at the top, and then he's able to finish with offensive rebounds and putbacks. He's not the type of big that you're necessarily posting up and playing through.
There's Chioza. There's sticklers for photography rules in this building.
I told you to put your camera down, Tom.
Sorry. Chioza got up in the air too much. James Madison has played this game close throughout. Their backcourt's been in foul trouble. Possession arrow belongs to Florida.
They're just trying to do too much. You know, you get possession of the ball. It's a 9-point deficit. You don't have to be in a rush or a hurry right now if you're James Madison, Tom. 3 minutes is plenty of time. You want to make sure you get quality possessions and that you're getting the clean looks that you've had throughout the course of the game.
These two teams meeting for the first time since the first round of the '94 tournament. Greg Williams hit a big baseline shot in that game late. Dan Cross hit the game winner with 7 seconds to go. Lon Kruger would take that team all the way to the Final Four. First of 5 Final Fours. The most recent came under Billy Donovan in 2014. Lewis, short. Back to Florida. And another foul. This is a James Madison team that's had a lot of success in the postseason. They're not just one-and-done teams. In '81, they knocked off Georgetown. In '82, they beat Ohio State in the first round. In '83, they beat West Virginia in the first round.
Well, you're looking at this year in the Colonial Conference, too, right now. Townsend off to its best start ever as a D1 program, 10-1 mark right now. Now, the 10-game winning streak is the program's longest since the 91-92 season. They actually received some votes in the AP Top 25 this week, and they're ranked 34th in the latest NCAA RPI ratings. And Northeastern is another team to keep an eye on. Preseason predicted 6. They're 7-4 on the season. They probably own the best 2 wins of any team in the Colonial this year, beating Bucknell and Vermont.
11-point Florida lead as we approach the 2-minute mark. Snowden, he'll get a trip to the free throw line. He's got 3 coming. He won just fouled, but Hayes went all the way into and over the top of him. Not only that's a 4th on Kavarius Hayes.
How many times have we seen this, though, today by Florida? I
He
mean,
ended up sitting on him.
that's how we felt on our airplane flight in this morning from Atlanta. Tom scoot over.
Well, Snowden's had a perfect game. That won't count as a field goal attempt as he goes to the line. 5 of 5 from the floor. He's hit all 3 threes, and he is a perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line. The 5th-year senior from Virginia Beach, transfer from Niagara. They were one of the oldest teams in college basketball last year with 7 seniors. Those 7 seniors graduated, 2 more left, and Lou Rowe had to reinvent his roster. They are full of newcomers. 10 new players in all, 5 freshmen, 3 Division I transfers.
And he finally missed a
and
shot.
some JUCO, yeah. But he's made it a 1-possession game. Snowden's got a career high.
And Florida's going to be very patient right now in their offense. No need, no sense of urgency that they have to push it.
Chioza with 10 on the shot clock. Kulichov can't quite save it. Everybody all right?
And that was that same play that they ran earlier where they got Hudson on the backdoor cut, except for this time they didn't get Allen on the back door, so then it came to the on-ball screen, which is what allowed the Chioza to have some space.
Mike White, and pardon me if this is beating a drum here, but Mike White has wanted his team to turn up the defensive intensity. In the first half, they gave up way too many James Madison layups. What did you think of their defensive effort and execution in the second half?
Much better. Yeah, 16 points in the paint in the first half. And they've done a much better job keeping him at bay and forcing James Madison to have to play from the three-point line in the second half. Only 6 points in the paint in the second half so far, Tom. You get better in 1 or 2 areas. Every game, that's what you're striving for. Still, in this portion of the season, as a head coach, all you want to do is get better in one aspect of the game.
Just under 1 minute remaining.
Kulichov, off night tonight. Just 2 for 10.
Well, now James Madison cannot afford to be patient. They've got to go and they've got to create.
And Kulichov commits a foul on the floor. 44.8 remaining.
At 3 minutes, you can be patient, right? 9-point deficit, 3 minutes. Take your time, plenty of time. Obviously, underneath the minute here, it becomes a possession game. So good job stopping the clock. You've got to be able to knock down your free throws, and then you've got to foul. You got to try for the steal right away. If you can extend your pressure, that's great. If not, then you've got to foul, and you've got to know who to foul.
Hayes is on the floor for Florida. He's just a 55% free throw shooter. He's the first one that stands out, obviously. Wilson knocks them both down.
Everybody else out on the floor right now is a pretty good free throw shooter on the season.
Chioza will inbound.
And you'll notice that Hayes is at the complete opposite end of the floor.
Allen gave it up. He's their best free throw shooter. And Lou Rose saying, hey, come on up. Well, they're not going to foul now.
Well,
14-second difference.
And 14 seconds isn't going to give you enough to make up a 7-point deficit.
3-possession game.
You got to be fouling here. He's saying no foul. I mean, this makes no sense to me, Tom. There's not enough time in the game to not foul.
Chiozza rolls it home. It's a new point. Yeah, he was hoping for the stop, and then I don't know what. I mean, one of his problems is 3 of his best players are all in foul trouble. Snowden with the rebound gives it up. Florida's going to survive. Chiozza with the steal. And the Gators, who started this season on an incredible run at 4-1 and coming out of PK80, leading the country in scoring, only find 72 points, but they turn up the defensive intensity in the second half for a 72-63 final.
Yeah, and maybe most importantly, Kayvon Allen showed up tonight. He was much more aggressive looking for a shot. He was much more composed in the second half. He played the way that Kayvon Allen should play every single night at the offensive end of the floor. And usually that means he gets a little bit more engaged at the defensive end.
Allen had 17. Chiozza had 19. They combined for 36. Furman and Tennessee still to come tonight. But between now and then, let's get to the studio. Ryan McGee standing by to get you set for more basketball tonight on the SEC Network.
Always good to hear from Tom Hart, former voice of the Winston-Salem Warthogs.
Who's that you say? Tom who?
Yeah, Admiral Schofield. He's pretty good, right?
Yes.
We're not that far away from the Big Orange versus the Purple Paladins up at the Summit in Knoxville, Tennessee. We're going to get you to that. But first, we're going to talk about what we just saw. And that was a victory by the Florida Gators. And it has been an interesting year.
Sure has.
Gainesville. We've been sitting here kicking back watching hoops. Ryan McGee, by the way, and it's the shooter. Pat
Good to
Bradley.
see you again, man.
Yeah, Patty. So tell me what's your first impression over what we just saw?
I think Sean Farnham hit on it at the end there when he talked about Kayvon Allen. Getting Kayvon back in that groove because he is so important to this team offensively, a guy that is an SEC all-caliber type player. Offensively, he can do so much for you because he can shoot the ball. He can get to the basket, create problems. And we talk about all the time how dribble penetration is the most devastating move in all of basketball. Chris Chiozza gives you that. Kayvon Allen gives you that. And Kayvon showed up tonight. I can't help but think that he's just going to build on this because it's something he does. I mean, he's a guy that can get you 15 to 20 points a night. So 11-point average for him is very low. The other thing that I like, I don't know if they heard you maybe talking at the half, 38% holding James Madison field goal percentage-wise, defensive field goal percentage at 38%. Going to win a lot of games.
It shows it with a triple-double tonight.
The cheese!
That's not a bad thing, right?
No.
19, 6, and 7. That's excuse me, not a triple-double, but in my mind, that'd be a triple-double if I was playing. That's pretty good.
You know what's funny about the triple-double? We keep triple-double in our mind, but you know what? What if he gets 19, 9, and 9? That's still not effective? 19, 6, and 7 is still very effective.
Yeah. Well, and the coach, the man that was on the bench, prowling the sideline tonight for what turned out to be a big good, Coach White joins us now from Gainesville. Coach, it's Ryan McGee and the shooter up here in the studio. Give us your first impression over what you just did on the court tonight.
Oh, I didn't do a thing. The guy standing 10 feet from me, Chris Chiozza, was terrific. He played one of his best games of the season. It was great to see him back. Incredibly sound defensively. Great decisions with the basketball. 0 turnovers led us. Got Kayvon going a little bit more aggressive tonight. Still want to see him even more aggressive. And I thought we took a step defensively tonight. They made some late clock ones and made us pay some timely shots. And still, I thought we did a pretty good job with field goal percentage. Our discipline was a little bit better. We've got to find a way to score on the interior a lot better. We're just relying too much on the perimeter, making shots, and we don't have Pat Bradley on this team, so we can't rely on it that much.
Well, Coach, that's a good thing because you talk about defensively. You probably wouldn't have much if I was on that squad anyway. But yeah, we could take
fit
care
right
of the
in
shoot.
with us. The way we're defending right now, Pat, you'd fit in.
That's right. You brought up Kayvon Allen, and getting him going is so very important for you. And of course, Chiozza has always got him in the back of his mind to get him rolling. How important he is to this offense. What have you seen with him in preparation for this game that allowed him to get it back in gear?
Just more aggressive. It's a constant challenge with Kayvon to have him look for his own. I mean, he's a very unselfish guy. He's very conscientious. If he misses a couple, in his mind, he's a really good teammate. He's thinking about, well, maybe the next one should go to Igor, to Jalen, and Chris is making shots. we've got an odd mix where we've got a bunch of perimeter guys that can score. And sometimes, especially early in this season, we saw where it was all positive. And now we're looking for some answers and how it all fits together and who should shoot when and where. And I think we're all overthinking it just a little bit too much. Sure would be easier on us if we shot it with a little bit more confidence, knowing that we're a higher level defensive team, and we're we're trying to we're trying to get there as well. But in the meantime, we need Kayvon to be super aggressive. I've got to do a better job putting him in position, getting better looks, and that goes for everybody.
Coach, last thing for you now, moving into conference play here pretty soon. What's your message to the team to close this out and head into the new year?
I have a great practice tomorrow. That's it. We've got to get back to getting away from thinking about what's transpired in the past 3-4 weeks. Boy, we blew one against so-and-so, and man, we should have had that other one, and we used to be ranked this and that. And we've got all kinds of noise going on right now, and we've got to get back to playing for the joy of the game, playing for each other, working hard, understanding that we could be good, understanding who we are right now, that this is a long season. It's a marathon. Let's just have a great practice tomorrow and see how we play against Incarnate Word and hopefully take another step.
All right, Coach, if you need Pat to come down and run some defensive drills, let me know. We'll put him on a bus.
I guarantee you,
I might advise against that.
Offensively, your players will be confidence through the roof if I'm running some defensive drills on them, okay?
All right, Coach, we appreciate it. Good luck.
Thanks, guys, so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
so who does Florida have next? Coach was just talking about it, and there you go. Incarnate Word, pretty good chance to win that basketball game. The computers tell us, but there's your conference schedule, Pat.
Wow. That's it. Begins the 30th. By the way, what kind of computer is that? Give Incarnate Word 2% chance?
Yeah, well, maybe the programmer is an Incarnate Word grad.
Need a
right?
That's
Who
it.
knows? That's how those things work.
Rewire that robot, man.
But listen, if you're going to turn the season around, you better do it in a hurry. But man, there's a couple of low numbers right there, according to BPI.
I'm going to tell you something though. They play Vanderbilt. That first game of the SEC slate, it's just something about it, and it just gets teams rolling in the right direction. So they get an opportunity as they host Vandy.
Happy New Year's there, right?
Ooh, big party.